Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Thank you for being here. Looks like the map was a little bit not working this morning. We got a few of you in there, but not sure what was going on. Anyway, welcome to another week of the show. Things are getting a little bit more back to normal in here, so I am really glad I am able to actually use the studio again and not just yeah. So it's weird. I see chats coming in, so it's not totally broken. Not 100% sure what's going on with the map. Oh well. Moving on. So the if you are a channel member, thank you so much. I've been hanging out with the members on the members only stream for the last 2 hours, getting things set up in here. We've been working on setting up the new OSEE switcher, which is over here ready to play with. I got some things connected to it, so we'll go over there in a second and take a look. So if you do have questions about the switcher, let me know in the chat. I do have a couple of pre-loaded questions to start working on and getting through to see what we can do. I'm just trying to pull those up right now. And yeah, I'll give you an overview of it and see how it goes. OSEE was nice enough to send this over a couple weeks ago. I did not have a chance a few weeks ago to play around with it because I've been moving and cleaning the studio and getting rid of all the boxes that showed up in here. But things are back together enough that I can actually share this now. So, great questions coming in. If you do have a question, please start your message with the letter Q in front of it, and that will make it easier to spot on my screen here. So we will try to get through all the questions and see what trouble we can get up to with the new switcher. Hello to everybody in the chat. Hi from Malaysia. Martin Andersons says, hello from Bogota, Colombia. First time watching live as I'm normally in Melbourne. Not a good time of day for Australians, I'm sorry. But I'm glad you could join live. Okay, so I guess we're gonna just go jump over there and start with an overview. So let's head over to the other part of this room. And hopefully everything is set up over there. Where did my button go? Oh, I moved to a different screen. There we go. Okay. Yes. Good. Keep the questions coming. We'll get to those as soon as I get over to the table. So here we are. Well, let's get that chair out of the way. I've got the switcher in front of me to oh, now I'm realizing, do I have enough things here? Yes, okay. So I got the switcher here. I've got it plugged into this little monitor, showing the multi-view, and the few sources plugged in here, which we'll go through in a second. And I'm gonna go through all of the features of the switcher and show you what all the buttons do. And I also want to show you the menu of how this works, because this is something that is definitely unique to this switcher compared to, probably obviously notice it has a lot of striking resemblances to the ATEM Mini. In fact, I have a ATEM Mini over here for comparison. The it is not exactly the same size. It's a little bit wider. It's slightly taller, about the same thickness. It has the same little taper here, the ATEM does. Fortunately, it means it's not going to fit in these PK1 stands, but that's okay. Would have been nice if they made it the exact same size. But it does have a lot of resemblances. And I think based on the little playing around that I've done so far, I think what they did is they took the ATEM Mini and said, what are people asking for? What do people want that the ATEM Mini doesn't do? And this is the Mini, but the Pro has the streaming feature and recording feature. And how can we fix it? I made a wish list video a long time ago about what I wanted to see in the ATEM Mini, the original ATEM Mini. That actually, interestingly, a lot of the things in that wish list made it to the ATEM Mini Extreme, which of course is twice the size of the ATEM Mini, got twice the inputs, which is not what everybody needs. It's a great switcher. I'm still a big fan of it. They did solve a lot of the problems in the Extreme. So off the top of my head, a few of the wish list features of the for the original Mini were there was no headphone jack. There was only one USB port, so that means if you were recording to a USB drive, you wouldn't be able to use it as a webcam. You can only do one at a time. Only one HDMI out, so again, kind of limiting in terms of what you can do with the output options when there's only one of them. And the Extreme added a second HDMI, a headphone jack, a second USB port, a lot of great features, and the big feature of the Extreme that I'm a big fan of is called SuperSource. SuperSource in the ATEM switchers is what lets you do the layouts like, oh, now I'm realizing I don't have my SuperSource layouts are not set up for the table set right now, but if I was over at the desk, it would be it would let me do layouts like this, right, where it's two different inputs on top of a background scaled. And I'm going to need to actually build some of these in the ATEM for the stream in order to show you what I'm looking at as I'm playing with it. So we'll have to take a little sidebar break for that a couple times. But it'll be a good overview of what the SuperSource feature is anyway. So anyway, the reason I bring this up is because the original ATEM Mini does not, the 4-input ATEM Mini does not have SuperSource. The Extreme does. And it was a big deal that they added it to the Extreme because it's only in the higher, much, much higher end switchers normally. So let's take a look. Actually, I think I need to make a SuperSource layout for this because I want to show you the multi-view of this at the same time as I'm pushing the buttons. So first sidebar, little break to make a SuperSource layout, and for that, I am going to use my trusty MixEffect app because it's much easier to do it that way. My face seems out of focus from the OSEE. Well, you haven't seen the output of the OSEE yet, but if you're looking at this, then this camera is focused here, not there. So that could be why. But we'll get to the output of that in a second. So first little sidebar is I need to fix my SuperSource layouts. So let's see. What I'm doing is I want to show you the multi-view so you can actually see it in a useful way, not just in a blurry background of this shot. And I want to show you the buttons that I'm pressing here. So my overhead shot looks like that. So I actually want to grab like a slice of it, because I'm not going to move this camera or the switcher, and put that at the bottom, and I'm going to put the multi-view on the top. How about that? So let's do that really quick. We're going to take SuperSource 2 for that. Going to get box 1 will be the overhead table. Box 2 will be my multi-view, which is on 15. 3 is going to turn off. 4 is going to turn off. So box 1. Let's see. Box 2, we don't crop the multi-view. We do want to center it. And unlock that. So what I'm doing is I'm changing this layout with this app. MixEffect. Should be a link to it below. I'm not 100% sure if that made it into the video yet, but I'll make sure it gets in there after we're done. Okay, so there's that. Box 1, we want to go, oops, that was a good spot actually. Zero. Sorry, I tried to get this done before the stream started, but just ran out of time. Okay, so that way you can see, you'll be able to see what I'm doing there. We're going to crop the top because we don't need all the cables. Look at that. So this is why I like SuperSource. Okay, now we want to see all the multi-view. Beautiful. Now I need to save this. Good questions coming in. I will get to them, I promise. To save this, we're going to go into Companion and make a button for it. I call it OSEE SuperSource. And we're going to say SuperSource set box properties SuperSource 2, and then use the new Learn button, which just pulls in all the settings. Great. Okay. Now I can show you what's going on. So SuperSource looks good. So, okay. We're going to first take a look at some of the, I'm going to do like a quick overview of the features of the switcher, and then we're going to get to the questions. But I want to get people on the same page about like what this thing does. So obviously 4 input, 4 HDMI in, no SDI, it's just HDMI. 4 HDMI inputs, there's program and preview buttons. You can see that row is red for the program, and when it's on preview, it's green. The multi-view is showing me the 4 inputs in that 3rd row down. The bottom has a couple of extra boxes I'll get to in a minute, and then program and preview. One weird thing that already threw me off is the program is on the left and the preview is on the right, as opposed to on the ATEM, it's the other way around. On some of the ATEMs, you can customize it though, so if you want it this way, but I tend to like the program on the right better. I don't know why. And I don't see any options to change it. So button press switching is like normal. I think this is actually something that is was very confusing on the ATEM that they seem to have taken to heart, which is on the ATEM there's only one set of buttons, and then you change whether you want to be in program, in preview, or cut mode. But with this, I can either do immediate, remember programs on the left, I can do immediate cuts by pushing the program row, or if I push the preview row, I can load one into preview and then do a crossfade. So the that's the basic switching functionality. There's these little buttons over here, which also are for switching. So there's aux, which is, I'll get to that in a minute. There's a button called black, which is either going to be a black frame or SuperSource. And then there's the 2 media stills. So that's the basic switching. You might notice there's also some audio buttons up here. So on for the audio, this is, in my opinion, a lot more useful than the ATEM buttons. So what you do is basically, you can say, you click input 1, that's like, it doesn't do anything yet. It just like changes what these buttons do. And then for input 1, you can say, do you want it to be on or not? So if you look at the multi-view, when I push on, then input 1's audio lights up. So it turned red, and now it's actually sending that input to the program. So then I can say, okay, do I want input 2's audio on or not? Same thing, I can toggle them. Input 3, input 4, aux, mic 1, mic 2. There are 2 mic jacks on here as well. Then there's, you can either, so you can turn any of them on, or for the video sources, you can either put it in on or audio follows video mode, just like you would expect. There is this little wheel, so you can spin it to change the gain. So if you want to turn down one of the microphones, you can do that. Or up, I guess, up to +10. So already pretty quick access to most of the audio features that you would want. These buttons are macro buttons, so they're lit up when there is something in them. It comes with a few pre-programmed macros. I'm not going to push those because I don't know what they do yet. This is the button for navigating the menus. So if I push menu, you'll notice that the little menu pops up on the side. So that's how you access all the settings. And then over here, we've got the cut and auto buttons. Sorry, you can't read that. The exposure is really hard to get right with this. That one's cut, that one's auto. So this will do a cut to whatever's on program or preview. This one will run the transition that's selected. So you can see it took like half a second. That's doing the mix right now. You can also do a dip transition through a color. There's a wipe transition, and that button will preview the transition. So if that's selected, this also, I swear, so the ATEM has this function for previewing transitions. I never understand how it works on ATEM. It just like, it never behaves the way I expect. And with this one, it's pretty clear. You push preview, it turns red, and now your preview video is what's on program. And now when you do the auto transition, instead of doing the transition on the program, it'll do the transition on the preview so you can see what it's going to do before you do it. So if you're like, oh, is my wipe set correctly? Let's take a look. And then you unselect preview, and now your transition happens on the program, which again is on the left, which is confusing. Okay, so then there's also a few extra buttons up here. These are for your keys. There's the upstream key and the downstream key. And this is similar to the ATEM, where if you push the lower one, that puts it on preview. So if we go back here, right now the downstream key, this is just set to factory defaults right now. So it ships with this graphic here. And downstream key will preview it. And then of course, if you do the crossfade, it brings it to program. Or if you just want to jump it on air right now, you push the on air button and it just goes. Same with the upstream key, which it looks like is set to the same graphic. Okay, big deal here. Look at these buttons up here. Record, which is what you'd expect. Record and stop, but also play. It has a play button. So what is that for? Well, it turns out that this thing actually takes an SD card. There's a little SD card in the slot in the front here. That SD card you can load in video files and actually playback video files from the SD card. So that is something that the ATEM doesn't do at all. You have to bring in video externally through an HDMI. And that gets us to the aux button. So right now, notice that my lower left box in the multi-view is labeled UVC. So I can show you that a little bigger. It's called UVC. And if I go into the settings, let's go show you the menu really quick. If I go into the settings here and go to, where is it? Is it in settings? I don't have this all memorized. I just started using it. Source selection. Aux. So, okay, here it is. Oh, wow. You can change the RGB type. Whoa. You can change the color space for all of the inputs instead of auto. That's good to know. That's what it looks like when you said it to something that doesn't make any sense. Oh, not that one. Look at that. Look at that. Now I'm just getting distracted by it. Okay, is this one right though? Yeah. So actually, the auto detect didn't work right. And here, if I show you the, if I show you this compared to my camera directly into the ATEM. Notice that the colors are a little bit different. It's a little hard to tell when it's changing sizes, but it looks more contrasty in here. That's because apparently the auto detect didn't work, but if I change the color space to the right color space, now they match. So that's cool. Already a lot more flexible. Okay, back to the SD card, which is what I actually wanted to show you. I guess I should change this one to match also. 422 full. There we go. Great. So back to the aux. So you get 4 HDMI in and an aux source. And the aux source can either be SD card or USB camera or NDI. Now, I haven't actually activated the NDI license on mine yet. They did send me a couple license keys, but I haven't activated that yet, so I'm not going to do that right now. But what we can do is plug in a USB camera or an SD card. And I'm going to start with the SD card because there is an SD card in here already. So if I hit play, it's going to start playing something. Let's see, I think I read if you long press, it actually pulls up a file selection menu. There we go. Uh-oh. They were there a second ago. Might have to... Did I put the SD card back in? Let me double check that there's actually files on this SD card. That is a useful... I just updated the firmware too. Okay, there's a folder called video and a folder called images, and I do see them. This is gonna be a really sad demo if this doesn't play, because it was playing before I updated the firmware. Let's pop that in. It's not finding the files. Okay, let's go take a look at the menu. Playback. Playback media. Ooh, we get playback options. Repeat, sequential, or play once. That's useful. So, play once, yeah. I might need to put them in the root folder. Maybe that changed in the upgrade. Yeah, it didn't wipe the card during the firmware upgrade, thankfully. That would have been bad. But let's get this working. Will it record on the same SD card? Let's find out actually, because maybe let's see if we can play back a video we record. So if I just hit record, there's no hard drive plugged in, right? It's just the my HDMI in and out. One out's going to the monitor in front of me, one out's going into the ATEM so you can see it. And then I have no USBs plugged in. I should show you the USB ports actually. Oh, I don't have it plugged into the Ethernet either. I need to do that so we can stream. But there's 2 USB ports there. So we're recording. Let's stop recording. And let's see if that file showed up. Oh, look. The box down there that's labeled DVC, it shouldn't be labeled DVC. It should be labeled aux. I think that's a mistake in their latest update. But if I hit play, it's playing back the thing I just recorded. Doesn't look terribly interesting to see me. There we go. So let's find out where it put that on the card, and then that should let us load in some other videos. So now if I do this long press the play, we should see, yeah, one video file showed up. So let's pop out the SD card and figure out where it put it. And oh, this is a change in the firmware. So I need to update my SuperSource 1 to have me in it. So I just updated the firmware and it shipped with a folder called video with videos in it. That file it came with. I put the city loop in there, but it looks like in the new firmware, they expect the folder to be named videos. So let's fix that. There's a stream key folder, a macro folder, and an images folder. Okay, let's go back. Pop the SD card back in and see if we can play back the other clips that I put in here. So pop that in. It found the first clip. If I long press the play button, it brings up the menu. There are my other files. Look at that. Someone decided that they didn't like the singular video folder and fixed it. Okay. They shipped it with this on the SD card. I don't know if it comes with an SD card when you buy it, but the one that they sent me has an SD card in it. And the video is the Big Buck Bunny video, of course, which is nice of them to use a file that they can actually distribute legally in that. So it is playing that back now, and I can, now that it's playing, I can cut to it by pushing the aux button. So I can push aux to put it in preview, and then I can do a transition over to the video that's playing back, and it looks great. Let's see if we can play my other video that I have in here, which is the city loop I use as a background for things. And look at that. That's great. So that's playing now. This video is like, I made this a long time ago. I forget who it is. I need to put the credits in the link in the description now. Somebody made this great animation. I set some music to it, and I had it like as a background for SuperSource layouts and stuff. Anyway, tweaked the colors on it a bit in Resolve. But I did that like 2 years ago and exported it to some MP4 format. Did not think much about it, and I just dropped it on this SD card and it played, which is notable because with the HyperDeck, you have to be extremely picky about exactly what format of video you are putting in the SD card. So this is great. It played that back no problem. And let's go. I don't mind this interface, actually. Long press the play button to choose the clip, and then you just choose it, and then it goes. That's pretty cool. Okay, good questions coming. Let me get to some of these questions. Let's talk about some of the questions about the video playback feature in particular. See if I can sort through these. Oh, good question. Hit record while playing. Let's find out. I don't think this is going to work. So we're playing the video clip. If I hit record, it's going to record itself. That doesn't seem useful. But let's say it's playing off screen and I want to record. Let's say I want to just cut to a little bit of it for something. So let's record. Oh my God, it's recording. Is this going to work? Okay, so I'm going to hit record. I'm going to crossfade to the video it's playing. It didn't explode. And let's crossfade back. And let's see what showed up on the SD card. Stop playing, stop recording. If this works. Is there a new file? There is a new file. The file name is not terribly useful. Let's load that file. And oh, look at that. Holy crap. I'm just gonna let it go. Watch that UVC box in the bottom left corner. It should, yeah. That's incredible. It can record and play at the same time. Never expected that to work. And then it just stopped, right? Because I hit stop recording. Amazing. Okay. Can you set the record destination and also the video source? For example, play from USB instead from SD card. I have not yet plugged in a USB drive. Do I have one available here? I might have to run to the other side of the room to grab one. Looks like they're all neatly organized in my USB drive drawer because I've been organizing my studio. Okay, John says, pretty cool to have it all in one box. Can it key that video source? Ooh, good question. So let's take a look at some of the keying features first. So, okay, right now, the upstream key is just this graphic. So let's go into the menu and change key type, Luma key, chroma pattern pip. Okay, so that's good. Let's set it to pip, and now if I do this, it's putting it down in the corner. So I have to go to the pip section. Cool, now we get all the options. Source, input 1, input 2, 3, 4, aux. So yes, let me change that video back to something that's not so confusing. Let's change it to the city loop video so we can see what's going on. I'm going to put it not on preview. Great. So I've got my camera and the overhead camera, and now we are using a picture-in-picture effect to play that video clip in the corner. So here's the size and position. So yeah, I can scale it. Let's move it over. Oh, there we go. Let's move it up. So now I can be talking about the video. I can mask it also. So I can crop. I can crop. I can border. I probably don't. I guess that's cool. How do I change the color? Oh, there it is. Color. Hue, saturation, brightness. Okay. That's one way to do it. So let's go to like something that's going to match my background a little bit better. Maybe a little bit less saturated. Cool. That's the picture in picture. So I can certainly play back the video scaled down. I'm assuming I can also use it for any of the other key types. So let's try to chroma key it. Let's go to the key type, change that to chroma key. And then we go to the chroma key and say source is not a still frame. The source is aux. Yeah, great. So I think, ooh, can I change what color it's? Haha, okay, great. It's sampling the video and trying to, this is not a good video to chroma key. Let's try to chroma key that red. Let's see if it, there. Oh. There we go. So yeah, now you can see my face peeking through the building there. I need a better video to chroma key that properly. Oh, there's the sample position, X and Y coordinates of where it was sampling. That makes sense. I don't have a green screen here to test like how good the chroma key is right now, so we're not going to do that. But that's cool. Okay. Let's go back to picture in picture, which is kind of cool. Peter says, if this were available in March 2020, I probably would have bought this, but now I have so many ATEMs in my life. I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that like, okay, let's take a quick break to talk about this, because I saw some chatter going by about this. Where was this? Where was this comment? Okay, a lot of, does it do ISO recording? I don't think it does. I don't think so. Let's take a look really quick to see if there's an option for it in the menu. Playback. Let's see, is there anything in settings for recording? Format, record file. Oh, you can give it a file name, that's useful. You can choose the output format and color space, that's good. I don't think there's an option for ISO recording. Not really surprised. Okay, but I saw some comments about Roland in here. So, oh, Brian says you can change the program preview locations in the menu. I didn't see that option. Oh, it's because I was looking at the older firmware when I was looking. Let's try that really quick, because it is annoying me having the program on the left. Where is it? Probably in settings, multi-view layout. Aha, look at that. They let you swap it. That wasn't there last time I looked. I was using a beta version when I booted it up last night. Much better. My brain really wants the program to be on the right. So thank you, Brian. Good tip. So, okay. Someone mentioned, there we go. Oh, I saw this question about, here it is. It was earlier. Wow, I'm gonna have to scroll way up through the chat. Sorry, I'm way behind on the chat. How much does the switcher cost? I've already spent several thousand on ATEMs following your recommendations. I think it's $295. I saw it on the website, which is frankly incredible, but also makes sense because they kind of have to price it that now. Why does it look so similar to an ATEM Mini? I think because they saw the demand for the ATEM Mini and said, let's fix the problems with the ATEM Mini. And frankly, it does add a ton of the features that the ATEM Mini does not have. Oh, John says, one question I had, is it metal or plastic? Hard to tell visually. Good question. It is not metal. So it is, let's see. ATEM is plastic. This is a slightly different kind of plastic. It feels, how do I describe it? There's a little texture on it, first of all. The ATEM is flat. This has a tiny bit of a texture. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not, but you might be able to see that it's picking up dust more because of the texture. But it is plastic. The top is definitely, let's see, the side is, yeah, plastic case. Oh, there's screws on the bottom. Should open it up and see what's inside. Yeah, so it is plastic. It feels very similar to the ATEM Mini other than the texture. So, oh, here's where the conversation started. It's like a hybrid between the ATEM Mini and the AV Matrix. It has the same on-screen menu preview program bus, 2 HDMI outs. It's true. It's very similar to the AV Matrix HD20402SMP. I don't remember what. There was a lot of letters in that one. That AV Matrix was a lot bigger, though. I like that this is nice and small, just like the ATEM. It's a really good size. Sven says, probably because the ATEM Mini essentially invented the affordable video switcher market, so all the others are copying from them. Oh yes, and it is priced. MT is chiming in. It is in fact $295. So okay, did Blackmagic invent the switcher, or did Roland or Panasonic in the 90s? It's a good question. So I did a video a very long time ago on my old channel, which I'm not going to link to. But if you search for Roland tiny video switcher, you'll probably find it. Maybe it's getting pushed down in the rankings. Yeah. Okay. It finally got pushed out. So Roland had a bit. I've used two Roland switchers before. One is the Roland V1 HD, which is interestingly actually similarly sized to the ATEM. And this one I've used for years in, like, when did I get it? I want to say like 2015 or 2016 or something. It's got 4 HDMI ins. It's got 2 HDMI outs. I think it is locked to output, and that one I think you can change to something else. Has the old style USB, RCA analog audio in and out, and a couple of buttons. Looks very similar. I use this for a ton of gigs, actually, and It was definitely solid. I didn't have a ton of complaints. I ended up selling it to somebody who uses Roland switchers all the time. But what I found was, which is actually the main drawback to this OSEE as well, is that there was no external control option. So I really like using Companion. I like automating things and tying in with the rest of the studio, having a button I can press that does 5 things. And the Roland didn't let me do that, and neither does this OSEE, which is the main downside. So I used this one for a long time, and then the other one that I used was even smaller, which I was super excited about. I think they took it off of their page. Oh no, there it is. They have a Mark II now. So the Mark I of this, this is a 2-input switcher. And this one, so that Roland was like $1,000 when it was new. And I think it's still up there. This one was, I believe, $600 when it was new, when I bought it. I don't know what they're selling it for now. Oh, darn, the battery. It's been on for so long. That camera battery died. I have to go plug it in. It's been out for a long time. This is a 2-input video switcher. It is the smallest switcher. It is smaller than an ATEM, and I love this thing. It was great. I ended up using it not for like the main show, because 2 cameras is not much, but it's actually really great for running a projector. And this is why I still think Blackmagic, or now OSEE, should make a 2-input video switcher that's tiny. And it doesn't need all of the keying features and all that stuff. It just needs to be able to do simple cuts, maybe picture-in-picture. Anyway, I did a video about this a long time ago on my old channel, and it was extremely popular. It has more views than many of my current channel's videos, which is really a bummer that it's not on my main channel. But anyway, Blackmagic was definitely not the first to do small video switchers, but Blackmagic put a ton of features into the ATEM Mini that these other solutions didn't have. And then also targeted it for people like streamers and more of a consumer market rather than the pro market. And that, I think, was the big difference. And price, because yeah, Sven says, how much was the Roland before the ATEM Mini was introduced? It was $995. It was $1,000, and the ATEM Mini came in at $295, which was just like unheard of, and that's why I was excited about it. So, yeah. Okay. So, as far as I can tell, there is no automation support for this. There's a network jack for streaming out, so you can stream to actually 3 locations, but there's no network control. I think that's a big downside, and that means it is not compatible with Stream Deck or Companion. There's no computer software for controlling it, and it's definitely not compatible with the ATEM. So I hope they can change that in a firmware update, because having external control, even just from Companion or via OSC or something, would be super, super useful. But there are macros, which we can get to. And the macros work very similar to the ATEM, except you can actually record them on the device. So because there is no software control, that is why every time I'm changing settings, I'm doing it from the device, because this is the menu. This menu is how you control it. So like, here's macros. If we go into the macro, there's import and export. So if we, actually, let's try this. Let's export the macros. It made an XML file on the SD card. So let's pop that into the computer and see what it did. And then we can record some. Actually, let's record one first. Change my mind. If I remember correctly, the way that this works is you hold down, so that these 3 are not lit, which means there's nothing stored in them yet. So if I hold this down, I think that turns on the recording. Okay, it's blinking. So now that it's blinking, anything that I do will be recorded. And I haven't explored how thorough that is in terms of like, is it literally anything, or is it like, can I hit record, for example? I have record and stop recording with a macro. I don't know. Ooh, one thing we could push our luck and try is building an instant replay feature if that really does work, because theoretically, I should be able to hit record, stop recording. I don't know how long I don't know if it puts timing in here. Let's do a simple test first and we'll come back to that, because it'd be nice if I can have like a instant replay button. Record a couple seconds. Anyway, simple things first. Let's do that camera, change to the mix option, run the transition. And now we have a macro, which should always do a fade transition to input 4. So if I put input 1 on the screen and input 2 on preview and change my thing to a wipe, if I press Mem6, it should. Ooh, it looks like it is doing, oh boy. Did it not work, or is it timed? Let's export that and see what happened. Macro. Export. Did it go? Okay. Let's grab the SD card. I agree the lack of an API is the GoStream's Achilles heel. We need companion and MixEffect. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the SD card. So now there's a folder called macro, and we should have our videos that we recorded. Yep. Oops. And open. Oh, that looks familiar. That is some familiar looking XML. It's like they modeled it after the ATEM. Fascinating. Okay, so you do get sleeps in them. That's good to know. It looks like I don't have a button to create sleep actions, but we can at least edit the XML to do it. So I'm looking away from my screen when I do this. I need to move my SuperSource around. I really need that over there, that here. Now I'm looking at the macro. So, okay, these are the ones that it shipped with. So first it turns off the key, waits for 100 milliseconds. That's usually a safe thing to do when you're making settings changes like that. Set the key type. Oh, weird. First, second, third value. That's such an interesting way to do it. Okay. So key type to pip source in 1, setting all the dimensions, and then bring it on air. Okay. Key 2 is another pip. Key 3, key 4, those are the ones that ship with, and then key 5 or input macro 5 was turn off the key. This is the one that I just made, and it looks like it didn't work. It didn't record all the buttons, all the actions. It set, oh, interesting, it didn't record the auto transition. It did set the preview to input 4, and it did change the transition type to mix, but it didn't actually do the auto transition. Also, it didn't actually seem to take effect with the mix. Interesting. Might be some bugs I need to work out still. Or I need to add a sleep or something. So, but it looks like if I were to do, I don't see an auto transition in here, so I don't know if it's possible to add one. But the nice thing about XML is that once you open this up, you can just start editing this and like, oh, you're like, oh, this wasn't the right spot. Let's just change that to a 1. And then go back in and load it from the file. So that's kind of cool. So definitely promising, but I do want proper API for it. Okay. John says, I'm curious about the mic line inputs as well, but I suppose you aren't set up to test audio. I'd love to know if they can take a balanced mic and have phantom power. I don't think so, but what I can do is I can show you the menu really quick, because I did see some stuff in here for the menu. Audio mixer? No, that's actually the mixer. Okay, so that's setting. So the buttons on the top were shortcuts for like some of these features. But down in the setting, there was an audio. Here it is, mic input. I can change it between line and mic. Oh, mic and power. I don't know if that's phantom power. I think it's probably for the little powered camera microphones. That's good though. Let's set that to mic. And it means I should be able to take my wireless mic. Oh, where's the microphone input? Mic 1. And there's headphones on here. Nice. And mic 1. That was an interesting little glitch. The audio thing popped up over the menu. Wait, that's not a glitch. It's supposed to do that. Oh, that's smart. Okay. We can turn off input. Look at that. And then if I... Huh, okay. Interesting. Oh, there's new little things in that audio meter too. My other camera died. Let me swap those cameras really quick. That one's not going to work up here anyway. So another thing that I'm going to have to do a proper demo of later is OBSBOT sent me these cameras. This is the new Tail Air camera with HDMI out, auto tracking HDMI out. Super cool. So that means I can actually use it with this switcher, for example, which has HDMI in. And it is really cool. This is not like a full review of these cameras yet, obviously, but they also have batteries inside them. So these have just been running off of battery power. And I kind of forgot that batteries don't last forever. And then I have been running them for like 2 hours as I was setting up this morning. So they also seem to use more battery when they are outputting HDMI. So now let's see if I can turn on tracking with that. There it goes. And now it follows me. Look at that. But they also come with a remote. So I can actually turn off auto tracking and just like PTZ it around. That's pretty cool. So, oh yeah, and the OBSBOT Tail is supposed to support NDI as well. Oh, actually, you know what? That's funny. That's the one that I got the licenses sent for. The OBSBOT sent me 3 licenses, 1 for each camera. I have to load them in somehow. I haven't looked into that yet. But but that means this probably already has NDI on it. So let me actually do that. Let's pull up an NDI feed. So I know you probably want to see an NDI demo. So first thing is I need to go and change the aux. Because remember, there's 4 HDMIs and then there's aux. And the aux can be set to either SD card or NDI or UVC webcam. Where is it? Source. Oh, and I can rename these now. So I can change aux. Oh, good. Let me get rid of this. I'm just going to call it aux because that's what it is. AU X. I really wish there was computer software for this though. That looks better. Now it says aux down there. Okay, great. It's good that they are actually shipping firmware features. ESP camera NDI. There we go. How do I choose NDI source? Interesting. I also need to get it on my network. That would help. I do have an Ethernet cable. That's not long enough, though. It's just a little bit too short. Oh, maybe I don't need this one plugged in. I can steal this one for now. That's my intercom system. That one's long enough. Oh, that's going to be on the wrong network. No, that's not going to work. My VLANs are outsmarting me. Is OSEE a proper company with different products or a new brand that might be gone soon? Luke says, somewhere in between. They've done monitors for a while, but this is their first switcher. And maybe they've been an OEM. Yeah, I suspect that. No, they've definitely got a ton of products. I've seen their monitors, but I've never actually bought one. But here's like, they have a bunch of monitors. I think they're an OEM too, because look at like, you know, you've seen these kinds of things for other brands. That ends up being pretty common for. What are you talking? Who's whining? Oh, my intercom. My intercom has a German accent. It's hilarious. It's not. That's not the final home. That's just my test. If it comes with NDI, that would be awesome. Yeah, I agree. Okay, I need to get an Ethernet cable of the right length to plug this in. Hang on, I have to go to my Ethernet cable box drawer. I've been organizing things in the studio and giving things proper homes. It's nice to be able to know where things are, where to find them. Yes, it is a Doorbird intercom, and it does in fact have a German accent because the company is German. And I think it's hilarious that they just like got one of their staff to record the voice prompts for the intercom. Oh, yeah. Okay. Double Decker says another review said that the bitrate of the recordings is low. Oh, I should look at that. I should pop the SD card out and check the bitrate. Has it been fixed in the update? We will find out. Also, there's no fan, so the unit gets very hot. Will that impact the lifespan? I mean, yeah, electronics don't like to get hot. But I did see ventilation holes. But no fan. Yeah. Oh, it's toasty. It is hot down there. Yeah, probably would not work well in a very hot day. Okay. On the they're doing network. It's on the network. So how do I find an NDI source? Is it in the menu somewhere? Normally you have to like, it's not just gonna like play a random NDI source. So, okay, I did get on my network. That's good. Oh, here's a quality setting. Quality recording low, medium, high. Let's set it to high. Oh, and look, and you can change the recording and streaming quality separately. That's nice. Okay. Will a notebook cooling pad work for it? Probably, yeah, probably. Already hot without doing encodings. Yeah, so it's not recording or streaming right now. So, although sometimes the way these things work is that they're always doing all the features. They're just like all the circuitry is already active. Anyway, NDI. I did not look this up. I might need to read the manual. Source selection, aux is set to NDI. Market. What does that mean? Oh, that's an interesting typo. I should tell them that. That's like guide markers. Multi-view meters. Oh, you can choose audio meters for each one. That's nice. Okay. I have to go find the manual to figure out how to get NDI. Because I know it's in here. Oh yeah, the stream key configuration is a bit funny because of there's no computer software, so you do it through the SD card. Okay, searching the manual for NDI is not helpful because a lot of words have NDI in them. I don't see it in the table of contents. I'm looking at the table of contents here, but I don't see a connector, menu operations, menu settings. Where's the section that talks about aux? Let's just guess. What if it's like, what if you long press the aux button? No. What else can I do? Long press play brings up the file selection. Long press aux. No. I do like that it shows me whether 1, 2, or 3 stream destinations are configured and the recording and the time and the space available all in that audio meter. Streaming and broadcasting. Streaming via Ethernet, connect to the stream, get a streaming key. I don't see any, I don't see any mention of NDI. Yeah, it would be compressed NDI. Will playback work from NDI source? I don't know what that means. Well, let me just get an NDI thing on the network first. So my phone should be pushing out NDI on the network. I'll make sure I'm on the right Wi-Fi. Actually, no, I'm not. I made 2 Wi-Fis here now so I can better separate studio gear from non-studio gear. Okay. Oh, geez. Look at that. It just worked. I didn't have to do anything. It just found an NDI source on the network and it's there. Holy crap. Here's my phone camera. Wild. I don't know how to choose which NDI source appears, but it's working. I can show you my nice organized shelves with little labels now. Yes, it is NDI HX. My phone camera only broadcasts NDI HX anyway, which is what you want for Wi-Fi. So, that's cool. Didn't expect that to be so easy. My wall calendar, I found a spot for it finally, so that's nice. That's how I check off, like where I mark flights, and when I make videos, I put stickers on there. My little Home Assistant dashboard. My new IKEA shelves, also with labels. Here's the OBSBOT camera. Nice camera. Got my printers moved in finally. So yeah, cool. Okay. It's pretty cool that it just like works. That's not, yeah, so now like it's an aux, so it works just like any other source. Obviously I can't do this and play back an SD card video, so it's one or the other. But hey, that's great. Cool. That is pretty cool. No Apple TV required anymore. I can just go directly into this. Actually, that means I can just use this as an NDI receiver. Calendar is busy. Yes, it is. Can it do NDI out? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, if there's more than one NDI source, I don't know what happens. It just auto-selected this one. Probably has a lag. Let's see, actually. Let's see if I go full screen on that. Whoa, not at all. Look at that. That's like the same. How do you measure lag? That looks identical. That's wild. Okay, cool. Can NDI be used for downstream key and fill for graphics with the alpha channel? Probably. As far as I can tell, as soon as it's got a video into this aux, it works just like any other input. So the like if I go into the menu here and go, oh, I already set up my pip, right? So I should be able to do, yeah. So I've got the NDI feed as picture-in-picture now, which is super cool. It just works. There we go. If nothing else, for $295, you get an NDI receiver that just works. Honestly, that's like a pretty affordable price for an NDI receiver because I think the Bird Dog Play is similarly priced at this point. It does open up a lot of possibilities and cleans up a lot of junk in the bag if you're running an IP router. That's cool. That's very cool. Would use this as a secondary switcher. I have an extreme ISO and could use the extra destinations and NDI feature. That seems like a good use of it. Actually, is one of the things I didn't talk about is streaming from it. But now that I'm connected to the internet, I guess I can. Let's get this out of here. I guess I can just leave it. Not the best angle. I need my little phone tripod. Any adjustments for audio delay through mic inputs? I'm sorry, I'm just so bad at the questions today. I think there is. Let's go double check. Scrolling through audio mixer. Mic 1, fader, balance, input, delay. Yeah, totally. You can adjust in increments of 10 milliseconds, up to 170 milliseconds. That's useful. I can see that they're out of sync. Yeah, so let's go. Oh, I need to actually hit go. No. Mike, maybe the preview lines are not after delay. That could be what's going on. I don't have a headphone plugged in to actually properly test that. Do you need to buy a license for NDI? I don't know if you do. Because this was the one that they sent me, so like it had beta firmware on it originally. I don't know if you have to buy the NDI license separately or not, but they should mention that on the page. Let's take a look really quick. I know they mentioned NDI in here. Yeah, so I want to try this next. Stream to 3 destinations. Oh, and a couple other aux features. Video mixer, recording and playback, super cool. You can record at the same time as you're playing back video. Oh, no mention of NDI on the page. Interesting. Okay, I don't know. I don't know then. Yeah. But it looks like you at least can get it somehow. You could use a presentation laptop on stage and go NDI out via Wi-Fi for the graphics feed. That's a good idea. I've been using wireless HDMIs for that, but this could work. You still haven't featured the SuperSource feeds, funnily associated with the black button. Yeah, okay, so let's do this really quick. Jump back to the menus here. So they have what they call a SuperSource feature. I did notice that it's not quite the same as an ATEM. So if you go into the menu and go to SuperSource, you first have to turn it on, or you can turn it off for some reason. I don't know why you turn it off. If you turn it off, then the button here called black is actually black. But if you turn it on, then the button here that's labeled black is now SuperSource. Why? I don't know. So now that that's on, the SuperSource is turned on. You can choose which of the inputs to use as the source 1, source 2, and background. So background is a still frame right now. We can change it to the graphics that are loaded, colors, color bars, or any of the inputs. So I can actually have it be like the NDI camera too. So any of the, you get three layers, right? Your background layer and then your two videos. Where it's a little bit different than the ATEM is in how you can choose what they do. So style can either be zoom in or crop zoom in, or zoom in crop, or crop. Oh, that's cool. They added 2 new ones from the beta firmware. This makes sense to me, although it's not quite as flexible as the ATEM SuperSource. Because with the ATEM SuperSource, it's basically 4 windows where each one can be positioned wherever and cropped and scaled however. So this one, it's more limited. But frankly, it's actually pretty much what you want to do anyway. Like notice how this one is actually perfect for this shot, which is I'm showing you the top-down view of the switcher and me cropped. And I don't want to crop the switcher, but I do want to crop myself. You do get to choose up and down in case you want to put like more text on the bottom or something. So that's useful. You do then get to mask each one. So I can change the mask if I wanted to crop on that. But notice that I didn't get to choose like the size of this split view. We're gonna go to that so you can see it better. I didn't get to choose like how much my video is cropped or the vertical size of the SuperSource. So it's a little bit more limiting, but given that they just shipped these other layouts in the firmware update, I'm guessing it's not a real hardware limitation. And it's they might be able to, ship other options in the future. We do get borders. I'm not a big fan of SuperSource borders, but some people are. So yeah, the different layouts: crop, zoom in crop, which is for the other. It just flips the inputs around. Crop is half and half. And then let's see what happens if I change the Y position of this one. I can't. Makes sense. So crop is just split screen. Or I can do zoom in, which scales, lets you see full frame of both. So useful options, in my opinion. Let's try to make this actually look like my SuperSource and change the background. So I need to go into the, I need to load from into the media pool. Where is that? Still generator, still selection. What's this? I get slots. Okay, so still, it looks like I have to upload graphics. So let's go to still upload. Aha. So into slot 2, we're going to load that picture. Oh, where did it reset the aux? Okay. And then in location 3, we're going to load, my, do I not have my channel art? Oh, it didn't let me pull in the, did I just not copy it onto the, Yeah, I just must have missed my RGB background. Or it's a JPEG and it doesn't do JPEGs. We'll do that one. So not quite. I wanted my RGB background. I got to figure out why it's not on that card. So images. Ah, yeah, I put it in as a JPEG, so it probably doesn't let you load JPEGs. Good to know. Get rid of that. Let's go find my artwork that is in the right format. RGB background.png. There we go. That's the one that I want. Paste it. So also worth noting, the SD card is not in the device anymore, but the media is still there. And that's because it is similar to the ATEM, I guess. It loads the images into internal memory. So let's pop that back in and then go to still generator, still upload, grab slot 4, and now we should be able to find RGB. There we go. Okay. Now I can go still selection. Still 1 will be image 4. Then I can go to the SuperSource up here and change the background to still 1. Now that looks a lot like what I would actually do on a stream. Everyone is asking about scalars. Will it handle different frame rates and frame sizes? Excellent question. The OSEE SuperSource is more akin to what the Yolobox does. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. So yeah, are there scalars? Do all the inputs have to be the same as each other? Oh, I missed this. Thank you, Davey. OSEE says you have to buy a license on another video on YouTube. Okay, good to know. That makes sense. NDI is licensed. It's not something that NDI gives you for free, which is it's the whole thing. Not going to get into that now. Yeah, if it had software control, this would be an ATEM killer if you didn't need the ISO. I agree. So do you need to have all the inputs the same frame rate? How do we figure this out? So I have the OBSBOT. It looks zoomed in. It is zoomed in. Don't know how that happened. Oh, there's a gesture for zooming on the OBSBOT. That's right. Okay. I do like the remote. It's very satisfying. So do I have to, where's that camera? Camera 2. Look how cool the remote is. It's very, very neat. Okay. Anyway, do all the inputs need to be the same size? I'm guessing not, because I haven't thought about it and nothing's broken. So I'm sending, first of all, in my setting here, in out format, I've chosen 1080p 30, which is the same frame rate that my ATEM is set to. But let's change this to 1080p 60. Ooh, it'll restart. I don't want to do that. Let's see if we can find this out a different way. What can I plug in that I know has a different frame rate? So all my cameras are coming in at 30. I don't know what the OBSBOT are set to. I need a monitor that shows me the frame rate. I noticed the program is on the right and previews on the left. Yes. There is a setting for it. Everybody was so nice to point it out. It is in multi-view layout here. Thankfully. gosh, it's very distracting. Before I go pull up the monitor, one other thing I want to mention about the outputs is that both HDMIs and the USB out can be changed what they send out. So it's set to multi-view right now, but I can also change it to any of the inputs or aux, notably not SuperSource. So input 1, 2, 3, 4 are there. Aux is there, which means I can have it be an NDI out, or it could be the video playback, or program, or preview, or multi-view. So unfortunately, no SuperSource out. I know Luke was asking about that. But you can have either multiple multi-views out or multiple programs out. And really notably is you do get to change what goes out of the USB. So you can change it to any of the inputs. So this is actually super cool. One of the things that I want to be able to do with an ATEM that I can't is record presentations. So if I have like this SuperSource layout, but I'm doing a live webinar in Zoom and I'm screen sharing. So actually this is not the best example, but it's when I get my computer plugged in and I'm doing like a presentation and I want to record the presentation in a edited form. I want my skinny version of my video and I want the computer full screen slides next to it. That gets recorded or possibly live streamed. But in Zoom, I only want to send my camera to Zoom because for Zoom is going to get the screen share from itself. So when in that mode, I can't use an ATEM because the ATEM USB out is always program. With this, I can change the USB out to input 1. And if I do that, now the webcam that the computer sees when I plug it into this will be a copy of my camera only. Then I can separately record or stream the SuperSource layout, which is super cool. Really, really handy. That's notable. Oh, Davey is saying that HDMI out 2 is fixed to multi-view, and you're right. For some reason, I can't change it. It looks like I can change it, but I can't scroll. And it has not been changed on the new firmware. That's so funny. HDMI 1 can change. HDMI 2, it looks like it can change, but then I scroll and nothing happens. So no, HDMI 2 is multi-view. Practical IT with Jeremy says, I like the onboard menu. My biggest gripe about the ATEM is that I have to use a Windows or a Mac for the companion software. I know, it's honestly, it's a mixed bag because it is really nice that you can not use a computer to control everything on the device, because with the ATEM, you're really limited by the buttons. They really only do basic things. And you pretty much have to get into the software control to do a lot of things. But I do wish that it would also support a computer software, because this is nice, but I could be a lot faster if I had a bigger screen to work with and a mouse. But more importantly, integrating with Companion. I agree. I think they could probably add in automation control. Because it's, I mean, you're seeing me like poke around in here, and it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely not as fast as when I'm, using the Stream Deck and just pushing one button that goes and changes 5 settings at once. So, okay. The thing, what was I gonna? Oh, can you stream one feed in HDMI to others? You don't get to change. So in the output options, there was no option for changing what is streamed. As in, streaming is always going to be the program. So you can stream through locations, which if we have time, maybe we can get to. We're running low. But so you're always streaming the program feed, but your HDMI out 1 and your UVC out can change. So I can, what'd you ask? Stream one feed and HDMI out to others. So you can take like HDMI out of, make a copy of your camera or one of your HDMI sources that's different from what's streaming, but your stream is always going to be what's in the program box. And recording is always going to be what's in the program box, which I guess makes sense. That would be a little bit confusing otherwise. It is a little bit of a bummer that I can't choose SuperSource here. I wonder if they can add that in software, because that would let you do some, that'd be really useful for like, if you wanted to use this to feed a projector in a room, I could see that being useful for that. Okay, what was I going to do? I was going to try to find out the answer to the scaling issue. For that, I need to grab the Blackmagic monitor and a battery for it, because that will tell me what frame rate we're getting in. Can you use it as a hyperdeck playback to USB while also using it as an HDMI converter to HDMI? I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but we do know that you can record and play at the same time, which is mind-boggling. Let's see how well this camera tracks me around the room. It's running low on battery too. Okay, so zoomed in a lot. I think I'm doing some gesture that it recognizes as zoom. Can you see me going around? No. Oh, it's trying. I have a box here called monitors. Not quite clean yet. I don't know if I have anything that I can force into 720p to test that. One of those batteries is dead. Okay, so I need some more HDMI cables. This is a long stream. Okay, my thought here is if I can plug in something to this thing, it'll tell me what format it is, so that, okay, I don't need my phone camera anymore. This will tell me what format it is, and if I can find something that's 720, we can figure it out. So, can I get the Sony camera to go 720 out? I don't know. 1080p 5994. Oh, well, let's start with that, because I know that my other cameras are 60 frames a second. So let's do that. Let's pull out that one and plug in this camera, which is going to be 5994, and at least see if we can do frame rate conversion. Yeah, no problem. Look at that. So this is the feed. Input 3 is now the feed for my Sony camera, which is 5994, and the other cameras are 30 because the overhead and the main camera are coming from the ATEM at 30 frames a second exactly, not 2997. This battery is dead. Great. Is there a... There is no 720 option. There is a 2160 option. I don't know how to force it to 2160 though. 4K output HDMI. Is it gonna, so it's outputting 4K. It looks like this can't input a 4K signal. I didn't expect it to work. Let's just do one more check. Oh, the battery died. Shoot. I have a battery wall. And I had HDMI cables on my lap. So I don't think it's going to take a 4K signal, which they never advertised it, so not expecting it to, but just for good measure, let's test. If it doesn't, oh my God, it works. No. Okay, no, it didn't. The camera booted up into 1080 and then realized it was going to switch to 4K. And as soon as it did, it went off. Not surprised, not mad about that. How do I get it? There we go. Back to 1080. 1080i. It can handle that just fine. And so it definitely has frame rate converters. That's good. But yeah, I don't have no, don't format the SD card. No. Yeah, okay. How do I find something that can do 720? What even does 720? Does it matter? If I can't even find a device that's going to output 720, does it really matter? Because we know it does frame rate conversions, so that's good. I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Did I get the OBSBOT Tail Air? I did. That's what, oh, one of them, oh right, I unplugged it. That's what these two cameras are, actually. And I got a little remote. So far, I think it's pretty cool. There we go. And I can zoom in and out. Use OBS. Generate 720. Oh, that sounds not fun. But I guess I can. And then use a dongle to go out of OBS. Sure, why not? That's what this show is all about. Right. 4K scaling, try another input like the ATEM. I'm not sure what you mean. I don't think that's, they didn't say it does 4K input, so I'm not expecting it to do that. Okay, let's go make a new. Make a new profile. On OBS. And I'm going to, I guess, just do a webcam and device FaceTime camera. Then I have set my canvas in OBS. Sorry you can't see this screen because I'm not sharing the this computer. Use case for this kit if you want a super light and clean kit, either for travel or if you want to leave in an unsecure area, you wouldn't want to leave a nice laptop. Input 1 on the ATEM seems to be different from the other inputs, just a thought. I don't know if this one is the same. I don't think it is necessarily the same. Okay, video output resolution 720. So I guess we're outputting 720. Let's plug this in and give it a try. Here you can see what I'm doing on this camera. Let's plug it into this monitor, which will tell us what it's getting. So that's going to, oh, it's 2160p, so it's a 4K output. But I want to steal, I want the OBS to steal that monitor. How do I do that? Output mode. There's a way to do it. View, multi-view. Do I have to unmirror the displays first? Use a separate display. Okay, it's still a 4K signal. View. How do I get it to output? I need to like go out the deck link. Can I? Oh, I guess I could do it on the Mac. Good point. I was trying to be clever about it. Oops. What did I just do? Jeez. Use it as main display. Blackmagic HDMI set to 1280-720. Can this monitor even support that resolution? I don't think so. I'm not seeing anything in the monitor. That might be what we want. So let's try it on the switcher now. It's going to be a different setting because it thinks it's a different thing. Okay, HDMI 3. Let's pop that in. Okay, now I have to go GoStream Deck. Here we go, 720. Hey, it worked. That looks like a 720. Yeah. Oh, Nils, thank you. Right click full screen projector. That's the word I was looking for. Right click. Full screen projector. GoStream Deck 1280-720. Sure enough. It's scaling a 720 feed just fine. Good to know. Okay. Fun test. Now let me undo this. Your OBSBOT zoomed in when you pointed up with your left hand. I know, it really wants to be helpful. Can I zoom out? No, I'll just use the remote. I joined late. Does it integrate with Companion or the Stream Deck? No, unfortunately not. That seems to be the big limit. And I hope that everybody asks them to add support for API support so people can write a Companion integration. Or OSC would work also, because that is the big limit to this. That's gonna be the reason that you may not want to switch off of a ATEM. I thought you were using OBS for your chat. Yeah, I didn't want to change the real OBS, so I pulled out my laptop for that. I know it does 720p. The Roland VO2 HD, you're right, it does. That would have been a good, if I still had it, yes, that would have worked well. Okay, we're way over time. So we're going to wrap this up pretty quick. I did not get to all the questions at all. Let's see if I can go through a couple of them really quick, though. And let's get that plugged back in. There we go. Can it stream to SRT? Oh, I didn't even look at the streaming settings. Let's look at the streaming settings really quick. That was a bit of a trick, too. So to do that, we actually have to pop the SD card out, load that into a computer, and then on the computer, there is a folder called Stream Key. And for that, you have to make a file. Where was that? It's in the manual somewhere. You have to make a file, and here's the manual. You get 3 streaming destinations. Configuring a stream key. Create a stream key, copy it, paste it into the... Oh, manual input, no thanks. This one. Platform, server, key, upload key. Copy your key to a TXT file. So I guess it's just the key goes into a file. Can I set my own servers? It looks like not. Manual input, no thanks. Oh, and I want to check the recording quality. Okay, so now that I got the SD card plugged in, that was the other thing we were going to check, was the recording quality. So, oh, I didn't record after changing it. Let's pop it back in really quick. So this one is recorded at, let's see, I double checked, but I'm pretty sure I said it right. There's a setting for record output quality. Recording and streaming are high. So before it was set to low, and now it's set to high. So let's see what this looks like. Let's do a transition. I did notice that when you do these, this is true for all encoders, when you do these crossfades, that can often be a really challenging thing for the encoder to encode. And you'll see a lot of blocky encoding artifacts when it does that. So we'll take a look at how that worked on the file. So if I go to the SD card and look at the video file. So let me play the first one from earlier at the low quality. There's no hardware plugged in, right? It's just, oh, we don't need sound. Just because I think I did a transition here, and you'll see what I mean about the blockiness. Where is it? Did I do a transition? Was it the other clip? It was, oh my God, it's recording. This was the one I did a transition. Here it is. So do you see the little motion block? I don't know if it comes through actually on the YouTube. I can see a lot of little blocks there. So that one was recorded at, I guess we have to FFmpeg it. Let's FF probe this one. This was the slow SD card. 3 megabits for that. And the high quality one came out at 30 megabits. Wow. Okay. That is quite a lot different. So let's take a look at that. How am I? How did it record the multi-view? I'm so confused. But hey, no blockies in the transitions. It looks very clean. What? How did it record the multi-view? That's not right, right? That's on the SD card. I'm not what what's going on? Somebody help me. How did it record the multi-view? I'm not sending the multi-view back into itself. That's weird, right? Yeah, John, it's really hard to judge when it's all going through the YouTube encoder anyway. It's true, but I can tell you from my perspective, then the high 30 megabit was a lot better. It's because you set the HDMI out. I guess you can get an ISO recording from the multi-view if you crop out all the other frames. I thought you looked at the recording setting and multi-view was not an option. I also thought so. Let's double check. Menu. There was the, where was it? Setting. Source selection. Yeah, okay. Output format, output source. Maybe it's the UVC. Maybe UVC is the same as record. That might be what it is. It wouldn't surprise me if they use the same pathway for feeding the UVC output as the record output. Let's test this. Let's change UVC. Oh, I'm pointing again and the camera zoomed in. That's so annoying. Let's change the UVC to program and do a quick test. So now this, how do I, well, I guess the audio. And the microphone's way over there, so that's why it's bad audio. Hang on. Okay, this is a recording with the UVC output set to program. And let's change it. And change that. This is a recording with the UVC output set to multi-view. And now, let's play those back. What do we think? Do we think that's the answer? This is a recording with UVC output set to program. This is a recording with the UVC output set to multi-view. That is the problem. Okay, that's what it was. I think this SD card is not fast enough to properly record at that bit rate. It's a very slow, tired SD card, which I think is what the glitches were. Which is actually funny because they said in their docs, make sure you use a high-speed SD card, and then they sent me this really low-speed SD card. Mystery solved, though. What a weird thing. What does UVC mean? Oh, that is the standard for webcams. So if a webcam supports UVC output, it means it will just work with a computer when you plug it in, and you won't need a special driver for it. So the used to be, this is like it's not really a thing anymore. Every webcam is UVC now, but it used to be that like you have to have special drivers for cameras. Once the UVC standard came around, then you just plug in a webcam and it works. So The ATEM Mini, I think that's actually I think they were one of the first ones to do this. I think the ATEM Mini was one of the first to have a UVC output in a video switcher, as opposed to only doing HDMI out. So that just means that you plug it in and your computer sees it like a webcam. And that was amazing, right? And like they've added that to a bunch of the Blackmagic products now. So like the Video Assist, the new Video Assist ones have UVC output. A lot of things do now. Some cameras do. I don't think the Sony ZV-1 does. Some of the new mirrorless cameras have UVC out. Some of them are still doing their own webcam thing. But if you want to know, like, can I plug this into a computer and it'll just work? That's what you look for, is UVC. So this has UVC out as well. And apparently when you change the output of that USB out, that's also changing what's getting recorded. So yeah, so it records whatever you send to the computer as the stream feed. Martin says, what a monster stream for my first watching live. Looks like a great new device, could be a big contender. That's, oh, hey, Mother Bee's here. It's been a while since I've been here. Very busy with work. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Ben says, thanks for all the work testing this. Really cool. Okay. Yeah, thanks. What a monster stream. It's almost 2 hours. Plus, I've started 2 hours before this with the members setting things up. So it's been about 4 hours. Check the requirement of SD card for high data rate up to 80 megabyte per second recording. Yeah, they actually mentioned that in the manual too. Or somewhere, it was on the website. I saw a very clear mention of like, make sure you use a fast enough SD card. And then this one did not have a fast SD card. Oh well. USB video device class. That's the acronym. Thank you, Nils. Okay. Does it support SRT sources? No, I think it's only RTMP. I didn't actually get to input stream keys into this, but you do it in this menu. Stream 1, you can choose the platform. What I don't know is if I can add other platforms, because I would really want to be able to add my own RTMP URLs, not just a stream key. Seems like that's a pretty easy ask, so I will make sure I put in that request, because what if you want to stream to a platform that they don't have in this list, or my own Owncast server or something, or a local device like a Magewell ProConvert. And then the key, you can hand enter a key, no thanks. But this is a cool thing where you can upload a key from a text file on the SD card, so that's a good trick. And it can stream to 3 places at the same time. It looks like it's all tied together, so if you hit stream, it'll go blast it to all 3. Of course, you have to have the bandwidth to support that too. Yeah, does it support open RTMP, or is it locked down? It looks like there's no option right now to give it a full RTMP URL, but I don't see any reason that they would want to limit that. They probably just don't know that people want that. So that's a feature request. Can I record to an external SSD? Oh, right. I was going to go through my bucket of hard drives to find one to test with. I didn't see any option for choosing where to record to, so I don't even know if you can. Yeah, I'll test that later. MT says, so as I understand, aux is configurable between UVC input, USB, and SD card video player. So you can plug in a USB camera. Yes, you can. I didn't have that set up. Where's my webcam drawer? I'm sure it just works. I'll do that in a video. I'm gonna have to do like a proper video about this that's like actually coherent and not 2 hours long, because no one's gonna watch this. John says, wish I had ordered this last week. Did a live stream for college on Friday night. It would have provided for a good test. Oh yeah, that would have been cool. Jules says, using it in conjunction with a Yolobox, does it have an advantage over the ATEM? Interesting. In conjunction with the Yolobox. So, oh, I know one thing somebody asked. Sorry, I don't know where the comment went, but somebody asked if it supports like web overlays. No, not at all. Like it's much more like the ATEM where it's a hardware video switcher. There's no web option in it at all. So that would be a reason to use it with the Yolobox. You could feed the output of this into the Yolobox, for example. But I don't know. It seems like the ATEM Mini pairs well with the Yolobox because the ATEM Mini does so much less. But this thing is like definitely like you want to do you want to use it all itself. Good topic list for any recorder review. Tons of questions here, even the ones you already answered and the ones I didn't. Micah, no non-functioning stinger button. It's true. All of the buttons on this, it looks like all the buttons actually have a purpose. Yeah, all of the buttons. And what does the background do? This one, I don't know what this one does because I've only seen it lit up. It might have something to do with, oh, found one button that has no purpose, background button. Okay, let me skim through the questions that I missed at the beginning to see if there's anything quickly I can get to. How smooth is the action on the T-bar? That's a good question. It is it's not mounted on like a pivot point, so it's just like it's like a volume slider. So it definitely doesn't feel like a Starship where you're like, ugh. It is a I don't know, like you can tell there's not enough room for it to be on a pivot point down there. So it doesn't have that feel. But it's smooth. It's not, and it has a little bit of resistance too. So like, I don't know how to demonstrate resistance, but like I have to tug a little bit and it pushes back all the way down and it's consistent. But definitely not a Starship fader. Yeah, everyone asked about Companion. Does not support Companion. We did talk about the pricing. It's $295, which is they came in at the right price point because Blackmagic dropped all their prices. So now the ATEM Mini Pro is $295, or maybe it was $395. They dropped their prices a lot, and this came in at the right price because it is a Swiss Army knife. Can it play hyperdeck clips on cut or any other playback device? No, there's no integration in the API, either in or out. It does have a resolution cap. It seems to be 1080. I don't see any other. We had options for frame rates, but not for resolutions. So if I go into the, where was it? It was in the setting. Output format, we get 1080, 60. Yeah, we get frame rate options, but no resolution options. And I also don't know if this is True 30 or 2997. That is something for this device. Let's find out. I should be able to take the HDMI out of one of these to find out what it's actually sending. Let's do that really quick. So if I plug that into this guy, this is telling me 1080 30, not 2997. Okay. So yeah, true 30 frames a second. Notable. Let's plug that back in. If I can find where's the port? There it is. And okay, other questions? No SRT. Is there a cheap solution for tally lights? I don't think so, because there's no API in either direction, so I don't think so. Oh, sorry, I missed this earlier. Can you rearrange the size and preview monitor so that the software menu panel is large? Nope. No option for that. Another review said the recording bitrate was low. It looks like the firmware update did address that. Now you can choose between bitrates. So you can choose your recording quality. Here, recording high, medium, and low. High was 30 megabits is what it came out with. Low is 3. I don't know what medium is. We should probably find out. So this is a recording at medium quality, and we can look at the bit rate that it came out with after that. Pop the SD card. I love that it has an SD card in it. It's just so handy. And let's grab the video that I just made and find out the bitrate. 8. So that's probably what you want to use most of the time. That's going to be, yeah, that's a good number to shoot for. So I should not have recorded that on high because that was 30 megabits, which was too many megabits for that poor SD card. Is there an auto switch of HDMI? No, I don't see anything like that at all. So that is, and because there's no API, you can't really even add it in later. Oh, the battery died. The OBSBOT cameras have batteries in them, which last a decent amount of time. That was a couple hours. It should ship outside the USA, yep. Can you add video files with an alpha channel? I don't think so, because it is, there's a luma key and chroma key, so it's much more similar to the ATEM, where it's like just a video file, and then it's going to use a color or the darkness channel to key it out. Why can't I hold all these USB cables? I don't remember what that was about. The box has built-in software. What? Now I'm curious. Let's find out. What is the IP address of this device now that it's on the network? Oh wait, it showed me it in the menu. That's right, there was a little menu for that. Setting. We're never ending the stream, are we? 10.11.46.7. No web page there. What said there was a box's built-in software? I think what they mean by built-in software is the menu is built in. I think that's what it is. Bill says there have been rumors of an SDI version. That is tempting. We did test if there's scalers on the inputs. It looks like there are frame rate converters, but no scalers. NDI is still under development, will be released in a future firmware update, but won't be in the initial release. Okay, interesting. I must have a beta firmware then too. They did email this to me. So, does it play stingers? No, it looks like the only option for video playback is full-on video playback, like from the SD card, not in a transition. Because if I look at the transition types, there's mix, wipe, and preview. And nothing in, yeah, dip. I can dip to color, or I can dip to one of the video feeds, but I don't think you can time it to, let's try it. What if I can change my, where's my aux, not NDI, I want it to be SD card. There's the SD card. And then I'm gonna load, load what can I, let's see if, so it just starts playing. What can I time? Oh, you can navigate clips with the forward and back buttons too. My question is, if it's ready to go and I have, this is how I would do a stinger, is I have the clip queued, I have the transition set to dip through the aux source. Then if I run the transition, is it going to play the clip as it goes? No, it did not start playing the clip. But if the clip is playing, you can dip through a video. But good luck timing that right. Because, yeah. So not really. Maybe you could do it in a macro to dip to a video and then back. You might be able to make a macro that goes to the beginning of the video clip, presses play, and does the dip through that. Maybe. Yeah. So funny that recorded the multi-view. How do I like it versus the ATEM? I think it solved almost all of the problems of the original ATEM Mini, even the Pro. It is still more limiting than the Extreme, because the Extreme SuperSource lets you do more things, but this is arguably easier. I think this has a ton of promise. The big missing feature is the automation feature. There's no companion integration. And for that, it's not really going to be something I would use in my studio, but it does seem like it'd be a great thing to use out on gigs. Carlos says, when you record playback, is it only the main program, or will do each input? No ISO recording. No ISO recording. Oh, Bailey, thanks for your hard work. Much appreciated. It's been a while since I've been able to watch as well. Thanks for joining. Now it's 2 hours later than it was when I started, so it's later for you now in the day. Can a webcam be connected to an input when using USB cam to HDMI input using USB HDMI converter and then plugged into the input channel? Not sure what that was a lot. Sure, USB to HDMI converter means it's just HDMI in. So nothing special there. And then it does actually have webcam in, which I didn't even show because I don't have any webcams here. You can ask them. They are exhibiting at IBC, Hall 12H90. Cool. So at NAB in April, I did see a sneak peek of this, and I met the CTO of the company, and I was gave them a little, had a little chat. It was a good conversation. I gave them some of my drawings of some of the other switchers that I want. The where is it? Still nobody's made this, by the way. This is actually close. You know what? Now that I think about it, they may have added this feature because of this. In my SuperSource-like thing, this is how I wanted this to work, is where this one's always 16:9 and that one scales down. Now, in my mock-up, oh, we did have this conversation, and I remember this now. In my mock-up, I showed him this, and I was like, I want to be able to, choose the size, and he said he gave it a lot of thought, and then he said that they could do this layout, but fixed at one position, not adjustable like that. So I am going to take credit for that feature. But so let's see, can we use this for this? Actually, I think we can. So the point of this, I made this little block diagram, Roland style. I like that Roland has these kind of things for all their gear. The idea is, all I need is 2 inputs for this use. So camera in, computer in. I want 3 HDMI outs. So we don't quite have it with this. The idea is that one of the HDMI outs is a pass-through, so I can have a computer in and computer out to a projector. And then that'd be input 2. Input 1, the idea with HDMI out is that I could send my camera through this device and the camera feed back out to something else like an ATEM. And then the program HDMI out switchable between either still frame, which I can do with this, video feed, or the program. Layout engine is what I call it here, but it's basically that SuperSource. That way I can do this whole page. I'll drop this link in the chat. This whole page talks about it, but it's the whole point of this is for these kinds of the two main uses: small conferences and virtual presentations. The small conference use case is you want to live stream your SuperSource, but then output a pass-through of the computer screen to the projector in the room. So I think we can do that, because here I can live stream. Let's get out of the transition. I can live stream. Here's my output source. So UVC is going to be program, because I want to record and live stream the program stream. I'm going to set that for most of the conference to my SuperSource layout, which is this. Imagine that my overhead camera is actually a computer screen. And then HDMI 1 is actually not going to be multi-view. It's going to be a copy of my computer screen, like that. That changed. That's what's plugged into the ATEM. So yeah, I can configure this for a conference where I have a computer plugged in, and then I feed the projector from this. Now I can't quickly change what's on the projector, again, because if I had like automation, I could change it between a still frame or the pass-through or whatever, but we'll get the automation. We'll push them to add automation to it. But small conferences, you have your stream doing this layout, but you want to feed the projector with just the computer screen. So you can do that. The virtual presentation use case is different. So that is where you want to record a high quality version of your whole program, but then output to Zoom just your camera feed. So for that one, I would do HDMI out 1 is actually my camera input, and I record the program, and then Zoom doesn't see this layout. Zoom sees just my webcam, my main camera. So you can do it, which means they got very close to this. However, didn't quite hit this box. This device does a lot more than what's needed for those two use cases, which makes sense because they're clearly going after an ATEM Mini. But I do still think that there is a lot of use for a even more scaled down version of this, where it's just 2 inputs and even fewer buttons, maybe no SD card playback, just even simpler. But so I had this conversation with the CTO at NAB, and I think he took it to heart. I think he understood what I was going for. Thank you, TechnoBuzz. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay, I got caught up on some of the questions. John says, one thing I like about my AV Matrix HD0402U, that's the word, I can set a source for the multi-view out, and there's a panel button to switch between that or the multi-view. Oh, that is cool. Yeah. This little box seems endless. It's true. Carlos says, if I buy 4 of the PTZ webcams, can I plug them directly into the switcher using additionally plug in like a USB to HDMI converter and use this completely standalone without any computer? Ah, yes. But hey, you know what? You don't need to buy USB PTZ webcams anymore because the OBSBOT ones are HDMI out. This is the new one. They just launched this on Kickstarter. I'm gonna do a proper video and demo of these later, but I had 2 of these plugged into this. So the I think one of the batteries finally died, but they're battery powered, and the they have HDMI out, so they're not webcams anymore. They're not USB webcams anymore. So you can just plug these directly in to this, and they are PTZ, but so they're auto tracking, but you also have a remote for them, so you can zoom in stuff. So, like I said, I'll do a proper video about these later, but I wanted to plug more things into this. But yeah, HDMI. I'm so glad they finally made an HDMI version of the PTZ. So, very cool. Does it have similar audio and EQ and compressor, including frame delay? It does have a delay feature, but I don't see any mixer features. Let's double check. Yeah, nothing like the ATEM. So it does have delay on the analog ends. It has a volume, but no like EQ or anything like that. Add an XLR input and it'll be a complete switcher. Yeah. Okay. I think we're done for the day. Whew. This was a lot. It was a fun demo. Thanks for all the questions. If I missed a question, I'm sorry. Chat goes by very fast sometimes. Can't always follow it. But leave a comment down below if you are if you have more questions, and I will do a proper video about this that is faster paced, less me running around grabbing cables and plugging things in, and more just answering questions. If you have any feature requests for the firmware for this, also leave comments below. I will make sure that those get passed along to the right people, because I have a contact there. They sent this over, so very thankful for that, and I will pass it along. I think that there's a lot of opportunity here for them to make something that is really quite excellent. Whew. Okay. And of course, thank you to all the channel members for supporting the channel. Yeah, it really means a lot. Your support is much appreciated. So members have been hanging out with me 2 hours before this stream while I was setting things up and running around setting up the lights and stuff, which is the whole thing. So if you want to become a channel member and continue to help support the channel that way, you get access to the members only Discord, where I've been posting stuff throughout the week as I'm trying this out, sneak peeks of upcoming projects. This next week will be a lot of IBC prep. So I'm flying to Amsterdam on Wednesday to go to IBC, have some fun stuff planned there. I'm gonna hopefully make some videos at some of the booths, check out some of the new gear. I'll talk with the OSEE people and see what else, see what we can get up to. I'm gonna go join John Here to Record's meetup. He's hosting a meetup one of the days, so I'll be there as well. If you're there, come say hi. You'll at least be able to find me there. Yeah, all right. I think that's it. I don't know if I'm doing a stream next week because it will be at IBC during the live stream time. We'll see what we can do. Might have a special edition live stream anyway, but no promises. Anyway, if I don't see you next week, I will see you on the internet, and I will be back here the week after for more live demos. All right, see you next time. Bye.